See this right here? You see how there's two coils? It took a little over a year, but I finally fucked up. It's the end of the week. I'm not used to doing 2 drop loads. I'm used to picking up one spot, dropping off in another. And I've been working for about a year now with Maverick. And I'm in such a system. I'm in such a, I have a way that I do it, that now I look at the paperwork. I see, okay, the address matches up, the coil matches up. Now let's get to it. I dropped off one coil in Columbia, Missouri. And then I was going to drop off the other 2 in Kansas City, Missouri. But everything was correct except for the locations. I got to Kansas City and they said, "Oh, how many are you having another drop?" I'm like, "No, I'm dropping these 2 here." It's like, "Oh, we're only supposed to get 1 coil." I'm like, "No." Because the place I dropped off in Columbia, the guy was brand new. He says it was his first day. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. This is your coil. He took it off. This is your paperwork. Just sign this one. Give it back to me, and you keep the other 2. And so he did it. And neither of us really were paying that much of attention. I could blame it on all this other stress at home, and I could blame it on him being new and this being my very first ever multi-coil load. Multi-drop coil load. But no, it's my fault, and I fucked up. And it's Friday. It's Friday afternoon. So you know what that means? They were actually staying late to take that 1 coil off me. I'm like, okay, well, if I could be there and come back, and I could be back by, I think it was like 6 o'clock, 4 hours. It takes 2 hours there. I was lying. That'd be more like 6:30. But 2 hours there, be super fast, come back, drop off the last, drop off your coil. They're like, well, no, we're staying late to get you unloaded. We're leaving right now. So then I called the people in Columbia, Missouri, and I'm like, hey, that coil that I gave you was the wrong coil. You're supposed to get these 2 coils instead. Could I swing by and give you guys the 2 coils and pick up that one? They're like, well, when are you going to be here? And I'm like, well, it's 2 o'clock now, or 2:30. I could be there by 5. And they were like, well, we're leaving here at 3:30. I'm like, oh. Well, when are you guys going to be open tomorrow on Saturday? Like, no, none of these fucking places are. Which, that's how they do it. I can't get upset with them for that. People don't work the weekend in these jobs. But they're like, no, Monday at 6:30 a.m. So I'm like, fuck. So then I went back inside in Kansas City and talked to them. I'm like, hey, what time could I be here on Monday to give you guys your coil? And they said 9 o'clock in the morning. So I was so stressed out when he first said, oh, I'm only supposed to get 1 coil. My fucking heart dropped, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, no, man. I couldn't believe it. I can't believe I did that. A lot of shit's happening. It's fucking hot. So now I'm about 30 minutes away from Columbia, Missouri, with my 2 coils, ready to give it to him. I wish I wouldn't have fucked this up already. I could be hauling boats home right now. They had a pre-plan for me for boats. Look at that. I used to know what the different names of clouds were. Stripe, nothing, no. But yeah, if you're doing something that you haven't done before, check the fucking paperwork. That's a good lesson. It's a real good lesson. Now I gotta sit here. It's Friday. Oh, fuck. Well, yeah, I was gonna go and take a shower. It's Friday, and I gotta wait here until Monday morning. So I'm not going home. I'm supposed to be signing on a house on Wednesday or Friday, between Wednesday and Friday. So that was also on my mind, which I'm not going to blame it on that. I probably would have forgot anyway. But, yeah, it took a little over a year, but I finally did it. I finally fucked up. I really hope And when I talked to my fleet manager, he said, oh, just go ahead and go home with it. But I'm like, well, that's 300 miles back home, and I'll be 250 miles back to Columbia City, and then another 130 miles back to Kansas. So I don't know if you guys are willing to pay for a whole another tank of gas. They said no, probably not. So I said, hey, this is all my fault. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go park real close so I could be there bright and early. It's gonna add an extra 100 or 260 miles on this run, But I just hope that I don't get in too much trouble. It's my first time fucking up. I guess it really just depends on the customers, how upset they get, or how upset they get. But man, I've never been so goddamn stressed out in my whole life. I was freaking out. I was like, I'm gonna get fired. No one fucks up like this. Which, when I talked to my fleet manager, he said, just pay attention, but don't beat yourself up if stuff happens. And I was like, you can goddamn guarantee it's never gonna happen to me again. I'm gonna be annoyingly precise with my paperwork from now on. It is not worth this stress. So I'm gonna go in here and take a shower. I figured I'd unload on YouTube. It's been a little while. God damn, look at those goddamn clouds. Beautiful. Be safe, drive safe. Look out for us because we can't always see you. Bye.